Hello, and I'm so pleased to welcome to the Texas Toast for this episode, one of my favorites. I'll start listening to his music and then I just can't get off of it. But Bart Crow, hello.
Hi, good morning.
Good morning. It's so nice to see you, and thank you so much for taking the time to visit with us.
I'm glad to be here. I'm glad everybody else was busy and you hollered at me.
Well, I kind of hand selected and said a little prayer, hopefully. Bart would
Well,
join us.
that's
So I know that you're a busy man with your family. Let's catch up with family stuff.
my crew is we are a party of six these days.
Six.
Yeah, mama, myself, and then we have four boys, 10-year-old Towns, 7-year-old twins, Parsons and River, and a 9-month-old named Poet.
Okay, now River with us in Kerrville that time?
That was Towns.
Towns. Oh,
That was Towns. Yes, ma'am.
He was so adorable and he was so well behaved and he just fit in with everybody.
Man, I'd like to hear that because we try to raise good young men, and they're kind of shit asses with us. And but when we hear from strangers and or friends where they go, hang out or hang out for the day or even have sleepover, when we get the positive reports back, that's always just like, yay, we're doing something right.
Absolutely.
We'll take it.
How in the heck do you manage six?
That's a Brooke question. That's my wife. That's a question for her. Like for me, um, I don't know. Like I long time ago, I have a tattoo on my arm that says patience, and I catch myself reading it like an NFL quarterback when he's looking at his plays. Just like I just focus on it. Um, and it's tricky for me because I get to leave and be out of the element, but then when I come back, I go from being in a quiet van where it's 4 or 5 grown men all listening to their own books or podcasts or chatting to just mad chaos. And it can be tricky, but you got to realize that like this is what you wanted and this is what I have and this is what I've been blessed with. So just plug back in. Now it's mama, on the other hand, how the hell she deals with it when I'm gone,
I'm
I have
telling
no
you.
clue.
Bless her heart. Well, kudos to y'all. That's awesome. Family of
Thank you so
six.
much.
And also kudos, you have a new single out right now. It's charting, Pocketful of Kisses, only 9 weeks on the TRRR and already at number 12. And it's a great song.
Thank you. Thanks. I excuse me. I wrote that song many years ago. Like I always kind of reference my life on chapters because when we moved to Austin, we were in a townhome for 3 years. And then we moved to a real home for 3 years. And then we've been in our house for 10 years. So there's these chapters, excuse me. And so I know I wrote it at the greenhouse. So it's probably 9 or 10 years old. And we used to play it live, and I couldn't find the right producer that could take how we wanted it to sound and the idea of it to just be fun and loose, if you will.
It is
And
a fun,
so,
loose song. Yes.
thank you. And so, I presented it to Nick J, who I've done my last few records with, and he was like, "Oh man, let's just go have fun with it." And that's what we did. It's just a good, lighthearted sing along. Let's have a good time.
Yes, and I like the storylines and the hook on it. That's pretty catchy. And that's from your EP, Pretty Good Heart.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so I was listening to that, and then you go first it went from Heart of Stone to Pocketful of Kisses. Tell me about Heart of Stone. I just have to ask you about that song.
I I honestly just if I'm gonna be 100% honest, I don't remember writing it, and I don't mean like I blacked out and like, oh, it just came to me in a dream. It's just more like I don't really know where the idea came from, but once I got it written, I was kind of like, and not, I hope I'm not putting myself up to hoity-toity status, but it was kind of like it ended up being kind of like a Tarantino type song. And I've looked at it, and even when we talked about maybe doing a music video for it, I wanted to be like very Quentin Tarantino, spaghetti westerns, but serious kind of style about it. I don't, I really don't know. I think I like that B minor. I love B minor on the guitar.
Hmm.
And I think I just wrote this like deal. I don't know. When I hear it now, so I'm putting the ideas backwards into the song. Like I didn't have these ideas at all, but I listen to it now, and it's kind of like, for me, in the chorus, I see it. Excuse me, like in Pulp Fiction when I forget her name, but the actress is just driving, and it's just like this thing's going past her, but it's that weird driving scene, and then yeah, I don't really know what it came from because I'm not like a mad or violent or even contemplating suicide type person.
Yes.
And so I just wanted to have fun. I wanted to have fun with a song and just be like, I don't know, let's just write it, see where it
That's
goes.
why I wanted to talk about it, because it is one of those songs to where it's like I even listened till to the very, very end thinking, okay, is there going to be more to this? Like, is there going to be like a little dead air and something come back on? But yeah, it definitely keeps you hanging. That's for sure.
Yeah, that's good. I'm glad you said that because that's how I feel about the song. Like I even sometimes get even more of a negative approach to it, just uh criticizing myself, like, man, we didn't really deliver. But then when you listen to it, it's like, oh my God, he's about to kill. Wait, he doesn't kill her.
It's yes,
Oh, wait, nobody gets dead. So he just leaves.
that's
Okay.
right. That's exactly right. So let's talk about how you started your career. Of course, you grew up in Maypearl, Texas, small town.
Very,
What
very
was it
small.
like growing up? Just a few stories of what you did as a kid.
It was growing up in Maypro was pretty incredible. Um I sometimes give it Maypro a hard time now that I'm older, but growing up there and obviously not knowing any different, um, it was fantastic. I went to kindergarten with about approximately 20 people, and 17 of us were in our graduating class, you know, uh, 13 years later. And so that was really cool. My family's third generation from Maypearl, and I've tried to do some homework on where we all came from, and everything's very sporadic. So hell if I know where we came from. But yeah, growing up there and then having friends, like it's fun to be 44 and still get to text a couple buddies that I went to
Mhm.
kindergarten with,
Yes.
and we still get each other's humor. We still get each other's like terrible jokes, and that's a cool thing. But I also feel like it was a launch pad for me anyway, that I always kind of felt like I had, at least in my uh, upper class years of high school, I felt like I had one foot out the door. And I don't mean that like better than anyone, just like I didn't want to settle for just being there, wherever
Mhm.
there was. And there
Mhm.
happened to be Maypearl. So I can't dog Maypearl because I love it, but I didn't want to grow up there. I didn't want to be there. I wanted to go see the world. And so I went to the army for
Mhm.
3 years, and then I came back and I went to college, and I on on behalf of a good friend of mine's recommendation, he was like, man, you don't need to go off far for college. You need to just go a little bit away and go into something you're comfortable with. So I went to Tarleton State, and then I came back for one summer, and one summer turned into 3 years. And then 3 years later, I was like, I'm doing it again. I'm about to get stuck here, and I don't want to get stuck here. I want to choose to be here. And I left and went back to Tarleton and finished my degree. And then I lived in Dallas, and then I moved to Austin in '06.
Mhm. And that's and thank you for your service first of all. And I know you're so supportive of veterans, but I know you tell the story in City Limit Signs about getting your first home. It's kind of like, I guess that kind of puts it in a little package with a bow on it.
A little bit. It's just I don't know. It was like I could still be living right there on Quant Street in Maypearl, and things would be fantastic. I just kind of wanted to just see what else was out there.
Hmm.
And then by the time I graduated college, I was dating my now wife, and she was from Waxahachie, which wasn't far from where I grew up, but she also was just always had like uh, just a tentacle out to going away. Let's just go see what the world does. And yeah, I was glad to get to do everything I did, but I'm really glad that I kind of snuck away to make sure that when I go back to Maypearl, which will probably happen someday in my older life, but I want it to be a decision and not like a trap.
Right. And so many of us, I can so relate to your story. I grew up in a small town, and like me and some of my childhood classmates, we had this alumni thing a couple of years ago, and it was like we had never missed a beat. It was like, to me, it was just like it was just 6 months ago or 6 years ago that we were all together. And it's just amazing. That's the one thing, you do get good foundation and good roots to take with you when you grow up in a small town. I'm as old as I am now. Yeah, that's my hometown, I call it my little girl hometown. Then I have my big girl hometown, and now I kind of have my playing with retirement hometown.
There you
But
go.
yeah,
That's me with Maypearl. Like I love Maypearl. I don't hate her. I never want to say anything negative about her. And because if I do, then that's kind of like punching all my buds in the ribs. And I don't want to do that. But it's a good place to go back to. And
yes.
you can just get back to ground zero and
Hmm.
then figure out where you want to go from there.
Hmm. So shows are opening up. You're getting to get out there in front of the peeps. How's that going?
Man, the shows are going great. Excuse me. Sorry, I got a little chest thing happening.
I do too. The
but
allergies.
yeah. Oh, we moved our trampoline yesterday, and it's like almost a half-inch thick of just yellow pollen.
Pollen. Hmm.
And so, yeah, it's what we have to deal with. But we're still alive.
Hmm.
Um, Shows have been really good. I feel like most folks are just ready for live music, like
Yes.
just wanting to be out, not wanting to be told what to do, not wanting to be told what to wear. And um, gratefully, we haven't had to deal with anybody being a knucklehead. Everybody's just been wanting to listen to music.
Hmm.
And for us, it's a two-way street where we get to go play. We get to go do what we are fortunate and very lucky to get to do, and what the fans kind of and people who love live music support us and allow us to get to do this. And I feel like that's why I say every night, I'm like, man, we're all working together. So this is cool. It's opening back up. Let's all just be safe and be cool, and let's keep playing live music.
Oh, and your shows are just like, let's see, how could I describe it? It's like you just get in another
Phenomenal,
world.
life
Yeah.
changing,
Yes.
everything.
It's
Yes,
just like you forget about everything, and the music and your voice and your band. It's like, here we go. And then especially when your signature song, Wear My Ring, hello.
yeah,
That's the bomb right there.
yeah. I'm not. I'm that hasn't fallen upon deaf ears. I know like what hand has taken me to get to do this, and so I I always can't wait to play Reed.
Yeah, and well, I can't tell you how many times I have like made a total ass of myself when I've been out and that song comes on, but it's fun. That's a girl dancing song. We don't care. It's like we're gonna dance when Wear My Ring
Straight
comes
up,
on, whether we're at the
that's how it
show
should be.
or it's getting played at the little pub or whatever. Here we go. We're just gonna let it rip.
Good, good. I'm glad you do that.
Yeah. So what's your favorite part of like with outside of, with everything reopening, but back when things were normal, your favorite part of heading out to a show and playing on stage? What is it that makes you tick when you're on stage?
Um, Honestly, I think everybody would agree with this, like even other singers and stuff. When people sing along, because that goes from like a situation where it's like, man, I wrote that in my bedroom, like just
Hmm.
between me and the paper, and especially if it's a deeper song, but even any song, like man. me and my buddy wrote that song, and we were just having a good time, and now everybody loves it, and we're bringing joy to people. Or man, like for me, Run with the Devil, I wrote this on an airplane with nobody around me, and it's been a very popular song that people have asked for us to play it, and that's pretty cool. So I think just the tip of the hat, if you will, or the
Mhm.
pat on the back, whatever cliche you want to use there, um, that's definitely the best feeling on the planet. And I, in the moment, will act like no big deal because I don't want you to be uncomfortable and I want you to talk to me telling me that. But I'll always walk away and I'll text my wife and be like, holy shit, man. Like somebody just wrote me, and or I just met somebody that they played this at their friend's funeral, or
Mhm.
they played this at their friend's wedding, or hey, man, this was their graduation song, or hey, this was their first dance. And I'm just like,
See, and that's why I love you, Bart Crow. That's why everybody loves you because you're so genuine. I mean, it's like you've been at this for a long time.
I have been. But at the same time, going back to that, it's like I had a first dance, I got married, I had a wedding. I've been to more funerals than I care to talk about. Um, so I know how they important they are to me. And when someone chooses our stuff over the whole rest of iTunes catalog,
Mhm.
what infinity of amount of songs to choose from, and then you pick ours, it's like I just don't take that lightly. It's kind of like, holy hell. I played a wedding on Sunday, and they were just in the moment, smitten, and made me a part of it. And I played some songs, and both of them were just like, this made the day. And I'm like, no, you guys made the day.
Oh.
Like, you're starting forever. Like, this is great. And then they were equally just kind of like, no, you made this special. And it's kind of like, just, I don't know. I think it's pretty awesome. I think it's pretty awesome to be a small part of the the wheel of music.
Mhm. So, what do you have in the future? Are you, well, I mean, I'm sure you have a plethora of songs you've already written or you are writing, but so just kind of a glimpse into maybe the next year or so.
Oh man, I kind of want to keep you guessing. I feel like we're probably about to be a little scarce, a little less amount of shows over the next few months, but
Mhm.
you'll know why once we tell why.
Oh,
And
okay.
then no, no, it's fine. It's I Yeah, I kind of like that surprise. It's We have an announcement coming, but and then our yes, ma'am, I do already have one record ready to go because whenever pre-pandemic we were just in the studio and I didn't want to make a record. I just wanted to record these songs, and I had about 12 songs, and I knew I was only going to release 5 of them, and we didn't know which 5. And that's what became Pretty Good Heart, because we're like, oh, well, I definitely want this song. Hey, this kind of grooves cool with this. And then you stacked it, almost looked like building a set list. Well, I also have many other songs recorded. And so we're going to record, or excuse me, release another record this year, probably September, October.
Oh, that's exciting.
But then we got some cool news coming from, the Crow House from mom and dad coming
Oh,
soon. So, oh, it's not a baby. It's not a baby. No more,
baby,
no more
not
kids.
number 7.
Yeah, no, ma'am. No, ma'am. We are done. Done,
Love
done,
it.
done, 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 done. The ship has sailed. The plane has landed. But we got something fun that we're going to announce in the next couple weeks.
All right. Well, I'll be looking forward to that. Always following you and keeping up and listen to your music. And just real quick, any musical influences for you?
Yeah, just everybody that's good and everybody that spreads love. Like I love everything from. I mean, honestly, I was really lucky and fortunate to be 44 years old, and a long time ago, my grandpa introduced me to Ernest Tubb
Mhm.
and to Bob Wills and to Hank Sr. And then it was to my father, who was George Strait and any top 40s country of the 80s, which be it John Anderson, up to Clint Black, Garth Brooks, up to my sister's boyfriends who introduced me to Easy E and Slick Rick and NWA and the DOC up to my freshman year in high school, where then it was Nirvana and Metallica's Black Album and Soundgarden and Pearl Jam, then up to like what I listen to now. Like I'm really big on Morgan Wade right now, and Ben Queller, and just Gillian Welch. Those are probably my top three that I'm listening to today.
Wow, that's awesome. Big plethora there of music. That's why your music is so good. I like,
Thank you so much.
I've been a fave forever, and I have, like I said, memories with Wear My Ring, memories with City Limit Signs, memories with Life Comes at You Fast. So
Well,
thank
thank you
you
so much.
so much for all you do.
I just, as much as I love and so grateful for the Texas music scene, there is a section where they will only listen to Texas country music, and it's like, well, hold on. If you love us, whoever us is,
Hmm.
um, go see where we were influenced from, because you might like the Beatles, you might like the Stones, you
Right.
might like Soundgarden, you might like Mudhoney, you might like, Mud Crutch. So there's a whole lot of plethora of ideas and that facilitate getting to be in the Texas country scene.
Wow, it's been so great visiting with you, just listening to you tell stories and talking about your I guess your benchmarks with people recognizing your music, your shows. But anyway, so before I let you go, I got one question to ask you, and I ask all the
Yes,
guests
ma'am.
this at the end.
Okay.
If you were a cocktail, Bart Crow, what would you be?
Oh my God. Probably uh if I was a cocktail, yeah, I'd probably be straight Everclear the way I've
Oh,
been rolling for the
love
last
it.
year. I wouldn't
Okay.
drink that. I wouldn't drink that if you paid me to drink it. But based on what you asked, um, just because we've been blowing and going, you know, um, getting the boys into school, out of school, into school, out of school, be in
Hmm.
person, don't be in person, virtual, not in person, or whatever. And we just, yeah, I feel like we've just been on a fire engine just rolling.
Just nonstop, right?
Yes. So probably the very worst cocktail you could ever imagine. Because
Be the
who on the planet Earth would ever drink Everclear, period, and then do it straight?
it
Ugh.
will light
I
you
didn't say it
up.
was a good one. I didn't say it was a good one. You just asked me what I thought I would be.
I love it. That's awesome. Okay, Bart. Well, I'll be keeping up with everything going on. And again, I can't thank you enough for accepting the invitation and coming on the Texas Toast and visiting with us.
Oh, Helen, thank you so much. I loved it. I love that you guys support Texas music, and I appreciate you letting me be on here. And I hope you have a blessed year.
You as well. Thank you, Bart.